Okay, hello students. I Dipen Tamang, assistant teacher, RKSP Boys Higher Secondary School, Darjeeling. So this is my third class. So in the very last class, we have already discussed about the United Nations. After that, we have discussed about the General Assembly of the United Nations. So today, we are going to discuss about the Security Council of the United Nations organizations. You know that the Security Council is also one of the important agency of the United Nations organization, which plays a very important and eminent role in maintaining international peace and security. So today here we are going to discuss about the Security Council of the United Nations organization. The Security Council is one of the important organ of the United Nations organization, which is entrusted with the primary responsibility of maintaining international peace and security. So you have to know that Security Council is one of the important organ of the United Nations organization, and which has a very primary responsibility to maintain international peace and security, right? So the composition and function of the Security Council has been discussed in Article 23 to 32 of the UN Charter. So let me discuss about the composition of the Security Council. Composition of the Security Council means Security Council कसरी बनेको छ, कुन चाहिँ संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघको कुन चाहिँ धारा अन्तर्गत Security Council बनेको छ, how the Security Council is composed of, है। यसमा हामीले composition भन्नु पर्दाखेरि the composition of the Security Council is elaborated in Article 28 of the UN Charter. Article 28 of the UN Charter. So basically the Security Council is composed of 15 members. Out of 15 members, there are 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. I repeat, Security Council is composed of 15 members. Among 15 members, 5 members are the permanent members and the 10 members are non-permanent members. And the 5 permanent members are USA, USSR or Russian Federation, Great Britain, France and People's Republic of China. These are the permanent members of the Security Council. These permanent members are the veto power countries. Veto power countries means having more power than others. In Nepali we can call it सशक्त शक्ति भएको देशहरू, एकदमै धेरै शक्ति भएको देशहरू 5 वटा हुन्, जसमध्ये हामीले जान्न सक्छौं अमेरिका, युएसए, जसलाई हामीले सशक्त शक्ति भएको देश भनेर संज्ञा गर्न सक्छौं अथवा बुझ्न सक्छौं, रसियन फेडरेसन अथवा युएसएसआर, जसलाई हामीले सशक्त शक्ति भएको देश बुझ्न सक्छौं, ग्रेट ब्रिटेन, जसलाई हामीले सशक्त शक्ति भएको देश भनेर बुझ्न सक्छौं, फ्रान्स, जसलाई हामीले सशक्त शक्ति भएका देश भनेर बुझ्न सक्छौं, अनि अर्को आयो तपाईको पिपल्स रिपब्लिक अफ चाइना, यसलाई पनि हामीले सशक्त शक्ति भएका देशहरू बुझ्छौं. द पावरफुल कन्ट्रीज, दे बिलोंग्स टु द veto power. They are the permanent members of the Security Council. On the other hand, we have 10 non-permanent members. So these 10 non-permanent members are elected on the equitable geographical distribution. Here the equitable geographical distribution means they are elected from different areas, from different countries. There are 10 non-permanent members. So the non-permanent members are elected, or they are elected on the basis of equitable geographical distribution. So they are elected from different parts of the world. So the 10 non-permanent members are, how they have been elected. Let me show you. 5 members from Afro-Asian countries. 5 members are elected from Afro-Asian countries. That means 3 from Africa and 2 from Asia. So, the 5 members are elected from Afro-Asian countries, 3 from Africa and 2 from Asia. 2 members from Latin America, 2 from Latin America, 2 from Western European countries, and 1 from Eastern Europe. So altogether we have 10 non-permanent members. So I repeat, we have the 10 non-permanent members will be elected on the basis of equitable geographical distribution, and they are elected in this way. 5 members from Afro-Asian country. Afro-Asian country means 3 from Africa and 2 from Asia, that is 5. 2 from Latin America, 2 from Western European countries, and 1 from Eastern Europe. Altogether we have 10 non-permanent members. So these 10 non-permanent members are elected for the term of 2 years. 2 वर्षको लागि उनीहरू निर्वाचित भएको हुन्छ. The non-permanent members will be elected for the term of 2 years. So these non-permanent members of the Security Council will be elected by the General Assembly of the United Nations Organization. I repeat, these 10 non-permanent members will be elected for the term of 2 years, and at the same time these 10 non-permanent members of the Security Councils will be elected by the General Assembly of the United Nations Organization. So the Security Council plays a very important role in maintaining international peace and security. So in that context, the meetings of the Security Council will be presided by the President of the Security Council. So here we have understood that how the Security Council is composed of. So the next topic is voting procedure of the Security Council of the United Nations Organization. So according to Article 27 of the Charter, which deals with the voting procedure of the Security Council of the United Nations Organization, Article 27 Clause 1 of the Charter states that Article 27 Clause 1 of the Charter states that each member of the Security Council have 1 vote. The decisions of the Security Council on procedural matters may be made by an affirmative vote of 9 members, including the concurring votes of the permanent members of the Security Council. The permanent member means USA, USSR, France, Great Britain and China. That means any proposal on matter comparatively important like steps against the peace breaking state. I repeat, any proposal on matters comparatively important like steps against the peace breaking state peace-breaking state will be defeated by the negative vote of the permanent member of the Security Council. Permanent member of the Security Council. If anyone permanent member of the Security Council opposes a proposal before it is brought to the Council and cast a negative vote in the said proposal, then such an exercise is so called as the veto, exercise of veto power. Here what you have to understand is that if such member states are in the path of breaking or violating the law of the United Nations organization, so that time if that state place some proposals or resolution to the Security Council, if that state is belong to the peace breaking state, law making state, so that time the negative vote cast by the permanent members of the Security Council will not approve them or will not approve their proposals or said resolutions which has been forwarded to the Security Council. So here what you have to understand is that if any other member states is trying to violate the law and order of the United Nations, or in the same case if that state forwarded some proposals or some resolutions to the Security Council, that time the permanent members of the Security Council the permanent members of the Security Council will cast the negative vote for the said proposal, by means of which that proposals or that recommendation will be suspended, will not be enacted. So these are the voting procedure of the Security Council of the United Nations organization. So here up to here we have complete the composition of the Security Council. Secondly, we discussed about the voting procedure of the Security Council. So number 3 is power and functions of the Security Council of the United Nations organization. The powers and functions of the Security Council has been discussed in Article 24 to 26 of the Charter of the United Nations organization. The primary responsibility of the Security Council is to maintain international peace and security at any cost, at any circumstances, by adopting any measures. The main objectives of the Security Council is the maintenance of international peace and security. So, the Security Council is in the sphere of maintaining international peace and security, can proceed to accept the two types of programs. In the sphere of maintaining international peace and security, the Security Council adopts or come forward to organize or to accept two different types of programs for the settlement or for the maintenance of international peace and security. So these programs are, number 1 is Pacific settlement of dispute. Number 1 is Pacific settlement of disputes. Number 1 is Pacific settlement of disputes, and number 2 is an obligatory settlement of disputes. So both the methods have one objectives, either Pacific settlement or an obligatory settlement. Both the methods have a single objective, and the objective is to subside violation, to subside the disputes, to subside the international cases, and to restore and to maintain international peace and security. So these two organs or these two programs has been adopted by the Security Council. These two programs has been adopted by the Security Council for the maintenance of international peace and security. For the maintenance of international peace and security. So, firstly, we go through the Pacific settlement of disputes. Chapter 6 and Article 33 to 38 of the Charter deals with the power of the Security Council to make pacific settlement of disputes among the member states. Or here what means is that if any member state is in the case of disputes, if any member states is in the path of making disputes or violating the law of United Nations organization, that time the programs adopted by the Security Council move forward to settle those disputes. So, once again I repeat, Chapter 6 and Article 33 to 38 of the Charter deals with the power of the Security Council to make pacific settlement of disputes among the members. So, according to Article 33 of the UN Charter, or Article 33 of the Charter states that any disputes that is likely to endanger the maintenance of international peace and security, any disputes that is likely to endanger the maintenance of peace and security should first be addressed through negotiation. There should be negotiation. If any disputes arises among the member states, if any cases arises among the member states, that time the Security Council will formulate the programs adopted by the Security Council to settle those disputes among the member states. So this is what the Pacific settlement of disputes. Any disputes which arises among the member states, so that time the program adopted by the Security Council will be forwarded or placed to settle those disputes by means of negotiation, mediation, and by peaceful means to settle the disputes arises within the member states. So this is what the Pacific settlement of disputes. Number 2 is an obligatory settlement of disputes. So the obligatory settlement of disputes work when the Pacific settlement disputes will unable to achieve its goal. In case of, it means that in case of failure of the Pacific settlement of disputes, in case of the failure of the Pacific settlement of the disputes, the Security Council once again adopt a program in the name of an obligatory settlement of disputes. Article 39 of the Charter, Article 39 of Chapter 7 of the Charter asserts that the Security Council shall determine that existence of any threat of peace, shall make recommendation or decide about measures shall be taken to maintain and restore the international peace and security. In case of breach of peace, the Security Council may ask to all the member states to cut off all the diplomatic and economic relations with the peace-breaking state. So here an obligatory settlement of disputes tries to settle the disputes at any cost by adopting any program. Even though in the obligatory settlement of disputes, the Security Council command to cut off all the diplomatic and economic relations with those states which is in the path of breaking laws, which is in the path of violating laws of the United Nations organization. Again, if it fails to produce a desirable result, if it fails to produce a desirable result, then the Security Council interfere with air, naval and artillery forces provided by the member state. So here an obligatory settlement of disputes works very smoothly to settle the disputes at any cost, at any situation, at any circumstances. The obligatory settlement of disputes want to settle the disputes at any cost by applying any method. By applying any method. So this is what the obligatory settlement of disputes. Next is the elective functions of the Security Council. The Security Council shares some elective functions with the General Assembly. The recommendation of the Council is absolutely necessary for the admission of the new member states. Relating to the new member states, and in regard to the new member states, for the approval of the new member states, it requires the approval of all the permanent members of the Security Council. In the business regarding the new member states, the ultimate proposal should be provided by the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. Otherwise, the new member state cannot get their membership. Until and unless the 5 permanent members of Security Council will recommend them. And the next, the Council sends its recommendation to the General Assembly regarding the appointment of the Secretary General and the judges of the International Court of Justice. So, in dealing with the cases or in dealing with the voting procedure of the Secretary General and the other judges of the International Court of Justice, the Security Council have to make a recommendation of the General Assembly, then only the Secretary General and the judges of the International Court of Justice will be elected. Next is the Security Council have to submit their annual report to the General Assembly. The Security Council have to report to the General Assembly, have to report or have to submit their annual report to the General Assembly. Not only the Security Council, Economic and Social Council, Trusteeship Council also have to send or also have to submit their reports to the General Assembly every year. So, the lastly, in the procedure of the revision of the UN Charter, in the procedure of the revision of the UN Charter, or the Security Council also have a power to amend the Charter, not alone. The Security Council alone cannot change or amend the UN Charter, but to amend or but to revise the UN Charter, the Security Council requires the recommendation, or Security Council have to communicate with the General Assembly for the ultimate amendment or revision of the Charter. So, this is the last point. So, the Security Council alone cannot amend the Charter of the United Nations, or the General Assembly alone cannot amend the Charter of the United Nations. But to amend or but to revise the Charter of the UN, the Security Council have to communicate with the General Assembly by the affirmative votes of 2/3 majority. So, here today we discuss the Security Council, we discuss the composition of the Security Council. Security Council is composed of 15 members, out of 15, 5 are permanent and 10 are non-permanent, 5 were elected from Afro-Asian, 2 from Latin America, 2 from Western European countries and 1 from Eastern Europe. So, we discuss about the voting procedure of the Security Council under Article 27. We discuss about the power and function of the Security Council under Article 24 to 26, and the main and the important programs under the power and functions of the Security Council, and they are the pacific settlement of disputes and the obligatory settlement of disputes. So, we've gone through the functions and power of the Security Council. We discussed about the elective power. So, lastly we discuss about the revision or amendment of the Charter by the Security Council on the recommendation of the General Assembly. So, today we completed the Security Council of the United Nations Organization. Thank you very much.